When a new year or season starts, do you ever feel the urge to completely reinvent your style in an effort to reinvent yourself, only to later realize it didn't work, get stressed out and frustrated by your closet, and end up back where you started a few months later? Yeah, me too. But today, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going through how to level up your style in a way that is true to you, that will stick with you over time, and that will help make fashion and getting dressed consistently fun, energizing, and inspiring. I am personally going through this process of honing my style in 2024, so I'm going to show you how I'm doing that. Wherever you are in your own style journey, however you're currently feeling about your closet, I hope this process will help you hone and level up your style in 2024. So let's dive in. Our first task is, of course, making a mood board. This is really just to get the gears turning, get excited and inspired, and put a little thought into what speaks to you and your sense of style. What you love to look at, what you'd love to wear, what feels like you. To make my mood board, I used Milanote, who I actually reached out to myself to ask if they would sponsor this video because I was already a Milanote user and lover. So thank you, Milanote, for sponsoring. I'm a huge dork about organization, so I'm so excited to show you how I use it and how you can use it too and do this whole exact same process for free. My first step in making this mood board was obviously to find photos that resonate with my style. Personally, Pinterest is my go-to image-based search engine, so I started there. You can also use social media, fashion publications, the Vogue Runway app, online shops, Tumblr, your own personal photos, wherever you find inspiration. Mine are mostly from Pinterest, so I just drag and dropped all the images right into my board. You can do the same thing from Instagram, Google, wherever, which did blow my mind when I first started using Milanote. That was truly a game changer for me. And of course, you can also upload your own photos. So my process here was first to find a bunch of photos I liked, drag them all in here, and then sort through them individually, taking out any that felt repetitive, didn't quite fit my style, or just didn't necessarily excite me. And then, over time, on different days, across numerous weeks, I returned to the board and continued to take out photos that were maybe a little more reflective of my mood on a certain day than my actual continuous personal style, and add new photos as I found them. I really think one of the most important factors of this is to do it over time. Not all at once, not even all in one week. It helps so much to really let it marinate, keep it going through different moods and whims, and see what sticks, which images you want to keep on there every time you look at it over and over, because those are the ones that probably really speak to you. I mean, every single thing on there doesn't have to be something you are absolutely 100% certain you will wear for the rest of your life. We need room to grow and play and experiment, but it does help to take your time and think about things in the long term. If you have certain bits of inspiration that you're not totally sure about, you can always save them for later. I made a sub board off to the side that's sort of like a maybe pile for certain inspo pics, so they're out of the way, but I can easily bring them back in if I want to. I also want to note, your inspo images do not have to be outfit or fashion photos. They can be anything. Home decor, artwork, lifestyle photography, a quote that speaks to you, a color palette you really love, whatever image expresses something that you also really want to express through your style. I personally used a lot of editorial fashion photography in mine, which I love because it shows not just an outfit, but a whole setting, a mood, a point of view. Oh, and speaking of color palettes, I also put my favorite colors to wear on my mood board because color is super important to my style. I'm so particular about it and it can really make or break an outfit for me. So having your go-to colors on your board can definitely help contribute to a cohesive picture of your style. Milanote has a little color swatch feature, so you can just insert a swatch and make it whatever color you want, which I also love so much. It's so fun to play with. And now I want to make a whole board of just like color palette ideas. Another element I think you should definitely include on your mood board are photos of your favorite wardrobe pieces you already own and your favorite outfits you have already worn before. I got this philosophy from my friend Tori Catapusin. Check out her channel. She makes great fashion content, and she always says to put yourself in your mood board because it makes it feel more real and applicable to your life and not like this external aspiration. And it's also just a great reminder that like your favorite wardrobe items and outfits are already mood board worthy. I put my favorite tote bag and a sweater, jacket, and a pair of shoes that I just love wearing. I feel like all of those items just make every single outfit more me when I put them on. And I also added these two outfits that I created for videos that I just absolutely love. They feel extremely me. They combine everything I love in style. And again, I stored some of my other favorite outfits and favorite pieces in sub boards that I can come back to later if I want to bring in any other outfits or pieces into my main mood board. Obviously, for me making this mood board, it helps that I already have a pretty strong catalog of outfits that I've put together. But if you don't have any recorded images of your favorite outfits, you can always just put on your go-to outfits and snap a mirror selfie, add it to the board. And if you're still in the beginning stages of all this and you don't even feel like you have favorite outfits currently, that's also okay. We will figure some out later. But if you do have some, put them in the board. By the way, if you happen to want to put any of my outfits in your mood board, first of all, I would be so honored by that. But secondly, they are all on my Pinterest or my Instagram, which are both linked in the description. So you can add them right from there if you want to. So that was a lot of information, but the point of this step is really just to have fun and get excited and inspired. So I would now just like to take a moment to recap and remind you. 1, take it slow. Don't do this all at once. Enjoy it bit by bit over time. 2, it does not have to be cohesive or match. It's not about curating your mood board to fit some established aesthetic. The point is to capture something completely new and unique to you. That's what your style is. And someone's style can't really be defined by one specific aesthetic because people are not aesthetics. We are more dimensional than that. And 3, don't take it too seriously. Honestly, this is here because I really needed this reminder. I spent so long on this mood board getting very bogged down in exactly what it should look like or exactly what pieces or elements of my style had to be represented in it, how realistic or specific it needed to be. I was just getting way too stuck on the details and perfectionism. Once I let go of all of those exact expectations of what my mood board should be and just made it what spoke to me, I had way more fun and I was able to just find inspiration, get creative, and then move on to the next step. This stage is just about having fun, being creative, getting inspired, and noticing what you really like. It doesn't have to be perfect. Once you have a mood board that you're happy with, it's time to take a good look at it and take some notes. I just did that right in Milanote as well, side by side with my original mood board, so I can refer directly to it while taking my notes. Can I just say, another feature I love about Milanote that I just haven't found anywhere else is that I can have all these photos, written notes, color palettes, links, checklists. You can literally have a live Google map embedded in your board. Like, you can have everything you would possibly need for planning all in one place, and all visually arranged and organized exactly how I want it. It's just ideal for any sort of project or planning that requires multiple types of media. Oh, and Milanote also lets you make a collaborative board with other people. So let's say you're making a home decor inspo mood board with your roommates or your partner, or you're planning a trip or vacation with a group. You could also organize everything as a group in Milanote. And like I said, Milanote is free to try with no time limit. You can make a whole mood board just like this with a free membership. So seriously, I urge you to try it out and use my link below to sign up. Now, on to the notes. My first note-taking step was just looking at my mood board and making a list of words that described it. I didn't worry about being repetitive or finding the exact perfect word or coming up with the best 3 words. Just any word that came to mind and felt right, I wrote it down. Then I looked through that list of words and took note of patterns. Personally, I found a lot of my words aligned with themes of being old-fashioned, playful, detailed, and down to earth. So I listed those down as sort of my overarching style themes. I know there's also the idea of the 3-word method from Alison Bornstein. The idea of limiting it to a certain number of words just stresses me out. So I have 4 here, but I don't think you need to have 4 or 3 or any particular number, and I could see myself changing this or adding to it in the future. Finally, in the descriptions category of my notes, I also just cataloged my favorite colors to wear and colors I've noticed are very central to my wardrobe. Oh my gosh, I'm literally getting tired holding up my laptop. So now we have a pretty clear verbal description of the style in the mood board, which, because I have my own outfits and pieces on there, I also know describes my favorite wardrobe items and outfits I've worn before. So we're already connecting it back to my real life style. In the next notes category, I'm connecting it back to my real life even more by listing out my realistic wardrobe favorites on myself in real life. What I like the look of on me, what's comfortable, etc. For me, this is something I'm quite tuned into already. I obviously put together a lot of outfits and pay a lot of attention to them. But I think this is something that everyone is at least a little aware of in themselves if they pause to think about it, even if it's not normally on their mind that much. Personally, I cataloged my favorite graphics and patterns, favorite silhouettes, favorite fabrics, and then just sort of miscellaneous other favorites, like favorite types of garments or details on a garment, like for example, wide leg pants or puff sleeves. If you don't feel confident that you could list off all those favorites off the top of your head, I would recommend A, of course, looking at your mood board and taking notes of the silhouettes, patterns, colors, etc. And B, looking through your closet at your favorite pieces that you love and get the most wear out of and identifying what it is you like about them, like the silhouette or fit, the fabric, the pattern, the color, any details it has that you like. You can also add more favorites categories if you think of any. For example, as a big accessories girly, I also added a little favorites accessories category at the bottom, just because they feel very essential to my style. But I don't think everyone necessarily needs that, although feel free to add it. All right, now that you have all that noted down, first, give yourself a little treat because you've done a lot of work already and you deserve it. And then we can move on to the last notes category, which is practical constraints. This is something I got from Hannah Louise Poston, who is kind of a genius. By the way, definitely go check out her channel if you're not already a subscriber. I think it was in her How to Match Your Wardrobe to Your Lifestyle video, where she talked about how basically the proportion of your wardrobe that is made up of certain styles of clothing should match the proportion of your lifestyle that is suited to or requires those styles of clothing. I'll link the video below too, but the point is to avoid buying a bunch of beautiful clothing that matches your mood board and you love to look at and you love in theory, but then never end up wearing. You have to consider the practical constraints of your real life that you're living and getting dressed for every day. We don't get dressed in a vacuum, you know? You get dressed to live your specific life with your specific body and comfort needs. For me, practical constraints broke down into 3 main categories: lifestyle, sensations to avoid, and looks I don't like on myself. Firstly, I identified my lifestyle as being extremely casual. I work from home and work for myself, so I almost never have to see anyone in a professional context. I mean, I see you all on here, and this is my job. I don't need blazers and slacks on a regular basis. Besides being casual, I want all my clothes to be comfortable for lounging, because I spend most of my day sitting on my little computer on the couch. And on that topic, I also spend the vast majority of my life sitting down. That is honestly something I don't think gets talked about enough. In fashion, most people spend most of their time sitting down. And yet, most clothing is meant to look and feel the best when standing. Not to mention the accessibility factor there. Sometimes people can't stand at all. We as a society have got to fix this. But for now, I'm just gonna have to continue being extremely picky about pants. Next up on my practical constraints, sensations to avoid. Comfort is key for me. So anything that is too tight, too rough, itchy, irritating to the skin, or makes me sweaty is a no-go. I also don't tend to like skirts or shorts that are super short or crop tops that are super cropped. That's more of a psychological discomfort. I'll be worried about positioning my body in a very particular way for fear of flashing someone. My final practical constraint is just looks I don't like on myself. There are plenty of things I love to look at and find beautiful in general, but just on me, I either don't like how they look or they just feel totally wrong for me. They make me feel not like myself. So I know I won't wear them.
If it makes my shoulders look like the widest part of me and my hips look like the narrowest part, I just know I won't reach for it. I don't really like when an outfit is all warm tones, all cool tones, or even all neutral tones. I don't tend to love warm oranges and yellows on my skin tone. And finally, I really like a mix of very feminine coded and masculine coded fashion, but I don't tend to go for just one or the other. So neither a fully masculine coded outfit nor a fully feminine coded outfit is usually for me.
I realize also not everyone is as tuned into those preferences as I am. But again, like with identifying the things you love, I think you can also look in your own closet for this phase and identify A, what's not there at all because you're just never drawn to it, or B, what are those pieces that you have but never end up wearing, and what about them makes you not wear them. I think once you take a look, you'll start to notice there are certain colors, silhouettes, materials, or other traits that you tend to avoid wearing. And that's how you'll know what to avoid adding more of to your wardrobe. Finally, after you've made your whole mood board and taken all your notes, you've narrowed down what you love to wear and what you know you won't wear. It's time to go through your wardrobe and take note of any gaps. Things that would fit well into your mood board, your style, and your practical constraints, that would be versatile and useful for you and get a lot of wear, but are somehow missing from your wardrobe. I actually did this somewhat recently in my very in-depth closet cleanout video. You do not have to do a whole closet cleanout to figure out what your wardrobe gaps are, although I would recommend it. It was very effective for me. So at that time, I noticed some gaps. Now again, looking at my mood board and my ideal style descriptors, I'm noticing some gaps. And so I made a little list of them right here as a checklist. And as you can see, I've already checked some off. By the way, I did not have to use Milanote for this entire process for this sponsorship. Like I said, I'm just already a Milanote user, so this just worked out for all my needs. It's a great tool. What can I say? Anyway, obviously everyone's ideal wardrobe is different, and so everyone's ideal pieces to add into their wardrobe are going to be different. And hey, if you look through your wardrobe and you don't notice any wardrobe gaps, even better. You do not need to buy anything just to feel like you're making progress with your style, you know? But I know despite having more clothes than we need, a lot of us are still missing some of those ideal pieces. It's really hard to find the perfect pieces for your wardrobe. There are a lot of bad clothes out there, and only some really great ones. The gaps I found were funky pants, colored blouses, brown neutrals, and interesting necklaces. I just thrifted 2 pairs of patterned pants the other day that I am so excited to start styling, and I'm still on the hunt for colored blouses, brown basics, and interesting necklaces, all of which are pieces that I can find to suit my practical constraints of comfort and my casual lifestyle. I will not buy them if they don't fit those practical constraints. You shouldn't either. Remember that. That is key to buying things you actually will wear. Now, as you can see, I have made not just a written list of my wardrobe gaps, but a whole wish list subboard, which has specific inspo photos of the types of things I'm looking for. Having photos helps me just visualize really clearly exactly what I mean by things like funky pants or cool necklaces. So I have a clear idea in my mind of what I'm looking for and what will fit my style. Because I almost exclusively thrift, I'm just using general inspo pictures of the sort of thing I'm looking for. But of course, you can also link specific products if that's how you shop, even secondhand products, like linking to Depop or ThreadUp listings. All right, y'all, we're on to the final phase. Playing dress up. Now, I know we just made a wish list, but I want to be clear, you do not have to buy everything on your wish list or even anything on your wish list before you can start putting together outfits and bringing that ideal mood board style into reality. It is very likely that you already have enough pieces in your closet to at least put together a handful of outfits. It just sometimes takes an explorative process like this one to get there and put together new combinations you never thought of with things you already have. The only new wish list items I have bought since making this mood board were some funky pants. I'm gonna do some using my new printed pants and some without, just to show you some new ways that you can be creative and expressive with what you already have. Let's do some styling. First up, I'm just gonna try to style a general outfit that aligns with my mood board, fits with my key style themes, and is comfortable. I don't have a particular occasion in mind, we're just putting together an everyday outfit. I'm starting with this frilly colored blouse, which is definitely old-fashioned, and then to add in some color and pattern, because to me that is essential to the playful and detailed elements of an outfit. I am going to go for some of my new patterned pants. Since the top is neutral, I just couldn't resist. And look how cool these are. Are you kidding me? They're so good. Both of these pieces are also in materials and silhouettes I find very comfortable, so despite being kind of extra, they do meet those practical constraints as well. Next, I added this blue sort of ribbon I knitted as a little necktie element for some more texture and color and detail. I think this looks really cool, and it even matches the blue in the pants. And then to finish it off, my go-to everyday winter boots, very comfortable and practical, and this gray overcoat for some contrast and another subtle pattern. We've met my style descriptors, we've met my practical constraints, and we've arrived at an outfit that feels fresh and new and exciting to me, but is also 100% something I would wear. Next, let's style a more casual at-home outfit for when I want to get dressed and feel productive and put together, but also 100% prioritize comfort for sitting on the couch. For a day like this, I'd definitely start with my cozy tan knit pants. These are my go-to to be super comfy and have a look that I like. Then on top, again, we've got to add in some color and pattern. So I'm going with this striped rugby shirt. The colorful stripes add detail and playfulness, and the sporty rugby style is also a bit playful and casually down to earth. Plus, again, basically pajama levels of comfort. Then, to be a little cozier and add in a more vintage-inspired touch, I'd add this marled cardigan jacket with these beautiful sort of antique-y looking buttons. And for a fun touch that's also cozy and comfy, I think some fun socks would make this stay-at-home outfit even better. And there you go! If I had to go out, I'd add my boots again, probably this big winter coat because it is actually 14 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and this blue hat on top for utmost casual coziness. Finally, let's do an outfit for more of an occasion, starting with this fabulous red corduroy dress. This dress definitely looks pretty old-fashioned, so of course to add in some playfulness and detail, we need what? A colorful pattern. Exactly, which we have here in this cozy red plaid sweater vest. If this is for more of a special occasion, then I'm probably not doing a ton of walking, so I'll go with these taller black heeled boots. Overall, I like this, but I think it still looks a little too polished and feminine for me, so I'm going to add this super cozy, casual, boxy tan corduroy jacket for a much more relaxed masculine detail. That brings in that down-to-earth element we need. Finally, I added some earmuffs for another playful touch and more detail, and now I absolutely love this outfit. I think it strikes the perfect balance of so many elements of my style. It's got the key themes, it's comfy, it's a silhouette I like. I think this is actually the most me outfit of the bunch. Man, now that I have this mood board and these notes, I should really go through this process with all these key themes in mind every time I put together an outfit, because I feel like it worked so well here. I love these outfits. I would absolutely love to hear what you all think of this process if you want to try it out. And if you do try it out, please come back and tell me in the comments how it went. I'm personally feeling so very inspired and excited to get back to my full wardrobe and style a bunch more outfits. Again, you can get Milanote for free through the link in my description. I obviously highly recommend it. Oh, and if you do, leave a comment, watch another video like this one right here that the algorithm personally specifically recommends for you, and subscribe to my channel. I heard when you go through your closet, you won't find any wardrobe gaps.